Hello and welcome to another Health and Harmony Girls podcast. We are super excited to speak to you guys again this week, and thank you for tuning in as always. Today we thought we'd talk about something that may be something you listen to in your everyday life, but you've never realized the healing properties of. So today we are going to talk a little bit about music and the benefits of music and the healing properties that music has.
I think because we're so disconnected from everything these days, we don't realize how many things have like therapeutic and healing properties for them. So I'm quite excited to hop into this podcast. Also, like non-disclaimer, we are not scientists and experts of the brain, but this is just what we wanted to share with you guys that we thought would help you and be a little bit more interesting to add into your repertoire of knowledge.
And we may not be brain surgeons or whatever the situation is, but there is written proof about music and the benefits with your neurological system. So
I mean, it goes back. I remember even in primary school, my mom telling me about Mozart and all those songs that make your brain work better and help you study. So it's definitely a real thing. I think if you start to actually look more into it and actually start to utilize the right music for the right situations in your life, it can really help as an aid to productivity, to feeling good, to just getting shit done and feeling the way you need to feel in certain situations.
Literally. And I'm like, this is on the like grander scheme of things. It's not really what we're going to touch on today, but my choir teacher in primary school actually got cancer, and she managed to like help herself heal through music, through singing, through music, everything, and it like rid her of her cancer. So I mean, that's a story for another day, but we
not
do
really.
know.
I think it actually makes so much sense. I'm reading a book now called Chakra Healing, and you can actually get crystal singing bowls that are tuned to the frequency of each chakra. And they were saying it's quite an amazing thing. Healing therapy is actually such a big thing now as well. I know Aubrey Marcus's wife does it. But yeah, because we are energy and because music vibrates the cells within your body, if you vibrate your cells at certain frequencies, it becomes healing. So, I mean, on the topic, but we're not going down that avenue. Yes. We'll have to get an expert in for that one.
Yes, that would actually be a really good.
I'll put that on the to-do list.
Okay, fabulous.
Get to-do list.
Get to-do list.
Okay, so we'll start off with almost like the benefits that music can give you. And then there's a few things we'll touch on that obviously we can't delve into much more until we do get an expert or do a course on music and brainwaves. Yes. But yeah, let's dump in. Let's
go straight into some music and the brain. It's kind of like Pinky and the Brain.
I was going to say that should be our intro song for the episode.
Yeah, music and the brain.
Okay, so the first thing is that music pulls attention away from negative stimuli. So I mean, think of it as a distraction and a healthy one at that. How many times, I mean, this works for me, and I remember being younger, like being angry at a situation, like going and putting on music, even if it is heavy metal or whatever, and just like head banging around the room and screaming at the top of my lungs. Yes, it's probably not the healthiest way to distract yourself from something, but it is a good distraction from being angry at someone else. Same thing as if you're going through a breakup or you are stressed or you have an exam coming up, just taking a break to listen to music that like invigorates your soul, resets your mind, makes you feel good. Even if you put a little dance in routine with it at the same time, like it's just such a good distraction away from negative things that are happening in your life.
I was like, I can't even touch more on that. It's exactly what it is. And number two is with regard to your brain. Obviously, these are all with regard to your brain. Like we said, we are not neurological experts, but this is like written scientific proof that music releases the feel-good chemical, which we've spoken about when we spoke about other chemicals and stuff. What was the name of that podcast?
I'll put it in the show notes, guys. Promise.
I couldn't remember the name of it, but anyway, we spoke about all the feels that you can feel, and it releases the feel-good chemical, which we all know as dopamine. So that is, and what I really love about music is, I mean, I've loved music all my life. Some people do, some people don't, but the connection that I feel through music is like something that I can't put into words. And what I love about music is that every single person loves different kinds of music and has different kinds of music that speak to them. Like you were talking about heavy metal, and I was like, there are some people that are so enthralled and like captured by heavy metal, and there are other people that if you listen to it, it like puts you into a bad state of mind. Then you've got people that are obsessed with classical music. Then we got our techno lovers. There's like all these different kinds of music that speak to different kinds of people depending on what their love is. But your kind of music will release dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical. And I mean, who doesn't want to feel the feel-good chemicals?
Exactly. And I think, like you were saying, everyone has such different taste in music. But for me, it's been so funny because people my whole life always used to ask me, like, what's your favorite genre of music? And for me, sorry, I hope you guys can hear me over my dog. I love all different kinds of music. So, like, it honestly just depends on what mood I'm in. But there's a music for every mood. And I mean, that also boils down to the frequency of the music. But yeah, I just love how every different type of genre of music can like give you different feels. Okay, number 3 is that it stimulates brain waves. So I mean, obviously brain waves is what happens in our brains, and there are waves in music. Amazing. So when you listen to especially specific music like alpha beats or binaural beats, it can help you to use your brain in a different way. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard of binaural beats or alpha beats, but I use it when I'm working because it's almost been proven to help you be more productive. So if you can match the frequency or the hertz or whatever they call it of the music to the tasks that you need to be doing at the same time and listen to that specific music, it helps your brainwaves to actually function more productively for what you need to get done.
I actually love that because I mean, I use the example of, for instance, if I am cleaning the house, because when we were in hectic lockdown last year, obviously everyone had to do things for themselves, and I used to like sweep and mop the floor, but I used to put on music that was really like high frequency, or not a high frequency, like high beats per minute or beats per second, whatever you want to call it. And I used to like move the mop and the broom to the beat of the song. And I used to get everything done like so fast, and also burn like 1,000,000 calories while I was working out and like dancing and doing everything at the same time. But if your goal is to fall asleep, you're not going to be listening to the same kind of music. Obviously, you want something that's more relaxed and got a slower pace, and that's going to help you to feel at ease. So that's how it can change the different frequencies in your brain.
Yeah.
In your big ass brain.
Your big ass brain.
The next point is that it improves your state of mind. So, I mean, I think this also ties in with the point about dopamine. But if you listen to music, it has a tendency to improve your state of mind because it helps you alleviate anxiety and depression. So, I mean, like we say, if you're feeling that feeling of dopamine and you're feeling that feel good chemical, how can you not feel alleviated from anxiety and depression? I think they just tie in hand.
Definitely. Okay, and then the last one is that it reduces the perception of pain. This is such an interesting one. But basically, it says here, studies found that when you listen to calm, sedated music, sorry guys,
I just got such a vibe.
Your perception of pain is reduced. Music takes your mind off the pain and helps you to focus on something else. So I think it also just boils down to the negative stimuli distraction. All the dogs are obviously going to go mad now. Sorry, guys.
No, we are a dog cast.
But I mean, it's actually quite an interesting thing. I'm going to try this next time I'm in pain, just to put on music to almost distract you from the pain. It'd be interesting to see if it works. I mean, it says it does.
I think so. I feel like when you are in pain, because that point is throbbing or hurting or gushing with blood, whatever the situation is, you are forced to focus on that point of your body. Where if you probably play music that is not overstimulating, but stimulating to you and releases that dopamine chemical, you can probably just focus on the music more than you can focus on the pain. Might take a little bit of brain game.
Yeah. Practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect.
Then we also found another 6 benefits of music. So these are the ones that we aren't going to delve too much into to speak about, but this is from the Center of Italian Music overseas. So apparently this is how studying music can help you or your children with everyday life. So these are apparently real points. We will touch on this stuff when we get, like we said, a professional in. But the first point is that development of parts of the brain associated with language and reasoning. So if you listen to music, apparently it helps develop those parts of your brain
that's quite interesting, actually, that it develops the parts of the brain associated with language and reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to find out. We actually need to get an expert on for a more in-depth music benefits of the brain. Music and the brain.
brain.
But it would be interesting to know. I mean, obviously with language, I'm sure it's similar to production and studying. So sure, binaural and alpha beats would be something on that. But reasoning as well, it's quite interesting.
I do. And also that language and reasoning are both similar parts of the brain. That's also interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Benefit number 2 is that it supports sorry, guys, these dogs are driving me mad next door. It supports the development of creativity. So, I mean, I love listening. Should I pause and sort this out? Sorry, guys. And we're back. Sorry, guys. So, like I was saying, one of the benefits is that it helps the development of creativity. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've just started doing this paint by numbers thing. And like for me, the best like partnering thing to do when I'm painting is to either listen to a podcast or to music. So it's quite interesting that it can boost your creativity.
I mean, I always think about, I'm glad you brought up painting, because I was like, the point I always think about with music and creativity is artists, and like how in movies and stuff, or whether it was series, movies, whatever it is, there's always like an artist that listens to Mozart or to classical music, and it like completely just stimulates their creative side. So I think that's definitely something that happens. Number 3 is that listening to music will help with the achievement of higher results in tests and homework. So this is also something we learned at school. And I think that's also something that's very specific to type of music. I don't know.
Classical music.
Yes.
But I think it all boils down to like the frequency or whatever you call that mode of music.
Yes.
Like measurement of music.
Yes.
But I do remember,
hertz.
I mean, the hertz.
Hertz?
Yeah, we spoke about this closer to the beginning of the episode, but remember I was saying in school, it was a fact that listening to classical music helped you learn better. Whether it's actually just increases your focus or it helps with retention of knowledge, I'm not sure, but it definitely helps.
It definitely does. That I mean, we had people come into, you know, when people did like not speeches at your school, but speakers, like speakers came to speak at the school. A lot of people would always recommend like to help your studying to listen to classical music. So that is something that is for sure.
For sure. Okay, another benefit is that it increases empathy and respect for other cultures. That's also interesting. We're just going to have to do more research.
Yes. I feel like that kind of touches on
Sorry, hold on a sec. Sorry, guys, we're back. I just had the neighbors, Mr. Delivery guy.
We should have taken it.
Knocking on my door.
That would have been bad karma.
Wasn't me, but it would have been fun.
I was just thinking about the whole point about cultures, and I'm like, I think maybe it's because of being South African, but in our country, and I mean, within all the different cultures that we have in our country, I find that listening to music from other cultures helps you respect that 100%. Culture.
And now that you say that, actually at your wedding, like they had a whole lot of helper ladies. And every time, obviously, like Mendoza came on, or there's that other song where they do that dance. I fucking love that.
Jerusalem.
They would come out and like start dancing with everyone. And it was so nice because it almost brings cultures together. Completely. And it got me hella excited. I was like, I need to start doing that kind of dancing lessons. That's such a vibe.
Literally.
I love like choreographing where everyone dances to at the same time.
Yeah, Lorraine practiced the Jerusalem with Ryan and my nieces and nephews for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks leading up to the wedding, and they were just so excited to do the Jerusalem. And it just shows you, like Rox is saying, different cultures, different people are all brought together by music. So I think that can help you to respect other people's cultures.
And also, on another way of looking at it, like when we travel overseas, music is something that brings everyone together, whether you can understand each other because none of you speak the same language. Like if a song comes on or jam comes on that everyone's fucking loving at the time, everyone's going to dance, everyone's going to smile, everyone's going to laugh, everyone's going to have a good time. So I love that, actually. It's just a nice way to
think about something like Tomorrowland or like Africa Burn. I mean, not Africa Burn because that's smaller, but like Burning Man, all these massive festivals where there are hundreds and thousands of people that attend. Like all these people are coming to listen to the same music.
Yeah, it does. It brings people together. It's amazing.
Sorry, I was just like going on a thing and I was like, it's so amazing, like having all these people come together.
Awesome. Okay, so was it you to go?
I don't even know, but number 5 is that it improves discipline and capacity to work in a team. So I think that kind of relates to, I mean, first of all, I don't know how, I'm not so sure about this. I'm just like, I don't know how music can help you in working as a team.
There must be a reasoning behind
maybe kind of the same reason as it brings cultures together.
Yeah.
Like
maybe, and maybe also just the type of music that helps with productivity and getting shit done.
Yes. And also maybe just listening to some classical music in the background may bring your team together and like allow you to accomplish more with the task.
Like we said, we'll have to get a professional.
A professional.
Okay, and then the last benefit is that it provides a means of self-expression, increasing self-esteem. And this one I can completely feel. I mean, not everyone on this planet is a dancer, but music really helps. And I love watching. My cousin actually does, contemporary dancing. And it's so beautiful to watch because you can see she choreographs everything to the music. And it's the way that she expresses herself through dance. But it doesn't have to be through dance. I mean, with music, generally tends to be dance.
Yes, or singing.
I was expressing myself at your wedding on Friday. I didn't follow over the speaker.
I was trying. I danced for as long as I possibly could. Honestly, the next morning I felt like my feet couldn't touch the floor. Like pregnancy and weddings just are not.
Yeah, being on your feet and dancing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if music helps you to express yourself in whatever way it may be, that also will build on your confidence because you are learning and being inspired to express yourself. And I think once you express yourself, you overcome the fear of rejection and judgment and all that shit. And it really does help with confidence. So
Agreed.
It's quite an interesting way to look at music, guys.
Yeah. So those are some 6 points.
Some 6 points.
Those are 6 points. But I mean, at the beginning of this podcast, we spoke a little bit about the healing properties of music with regard to, like, I was talking about the story with cancer and people that have used music to heal themselves in other ways. But music is used as a therapy. So for a lot of people worldwide, music is their therapy and it helps people cope with a lot of different things. So if music is something that you've never considered in helping you with issues that you are going through, we'll touch on some now, but music is a form of therapy and that is 100% a fact. I can tell you that for sure. We don't need a qualified person to tell us that, but music can help you with lots of things. I mean, all around the world, number one, this points out to me because I'm pregnant, like uber pregnant at the moment, but music helps with labor and delivery, which is something that I can completely relate to. I think it just goes back to that whole point of like feeling calm. But there's tons of things, guys. I mean, anxiety and depression, as we spoke about before, there's neurological disorders. So like bipolar, all of those things. I mean, every day, just normal stresses. Yes. Alzheimer's. There's tons of ways that music can be used as therapy. I mean, even the number one point on this whole list is chronic illness and disease. And that's what we were speaking about earlier with regard to the cancer. Like, I think a lot of people don't believe in it. And that's also what forces it not to work.
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the day, especially with alternative healing methods and techniques that aren't like your mainstream signed off by doctors, approved by scientists vibe, there is a huge shift in consciousness and like believing in these woo-woo techniques and approaches to healing. But there's so much research being done on all of these alternative things. And even the book I'm reading, did I mention this one on the last podcast? This is what happens when you batch record. Book I'm reading, Chakra Healing, they were also saying like, sound healing is actually becoming something that even doctors and therapists are using as a healing therapy, because there's so much science-backed proof that it actually works. So,
Completely.
but also going back to the alternative healing points that I was going to make is that unless you actually believe it in your mind that it is going to work, it probably won't. No. Because our mind is where we hold on to stresses, anxieties, which manifest in the body as cancer and disease and illness. So mindset, and that's why I think we started this podcast in the first place, is to help expand your knowledge on your mindset and your health and your soul and your wellness and all of these things that all like go back to your mind, because your mind controls everything in your life.
I love that you point that out, because I think it's so important to realize that with whether it's, like we say, woohoo forms of healing that you may not believe in, whether you believe it or not, it's true. Like we've said in our previous podcast before. So you could also have someone who is such a negative, and I'm going to use the word and say cancerous person, that they may believe also that their medication is not going to work and that nothing is going to heal them. It doesn't have to be a woohoo form of healing, but if you believe that the medication that you've been prescribed by a doctor is not going to work for you, it most likely is probably not going to work for you. And that's because our brain and our mind is so powerful. And we've spoken about this before. So whether you believe in your medication or whether you believe in music or whatever it is, that belief that it's going to work is going to help in the process of it actually working. So I think that's
there's
important.
Scientific proof on that as well with the placebo effect. So you give a whole bunch of people supposedly a medication that's like helps with a certain ailment, illness, disease, whatever it may be, but half of them are given like a sugar tablet and the other half are given the actual medication, and they both pretty much have the same results. So your mind is fucking powerful.
Completely.
Yeah.
And I also love that the one thing that's on here, because we spoke about it in one of our podcasts, was that music therapy really helps people with grief and loss. So I think whether it's the type of music, whether it's the lyrics that are written for the music, whatever that form of music is that you're listening to, it can really help you with grief and with loss. And like this, it also says with spiritual crisis. So, I mean, whether you're a godly person, whether you're a spiritual person, whether you believe in the universe, or there are types of music surrounding every type of spirituality as well. So spiritual crisis can also be resolved through music therapy, which is, I think, amazing.
I love that you touched on that now, because it actually, when my dad passed away, his iPod was like something I had to listen. I was listening to every day because it was like his music, and it just like when I listened to it, I was just had memories of being happy with him. So that's such a beautiful way that I used to deal with the grief of my dad passing. I must actually tell my mom I need to go get that iPod from her before they lose it.
So I need that iPod, but yeah, that's amazing.
And it's such a nostalgic thing as well. Like I said to my husband the other day, I was like, if only I could have remembered my schoolwork the way I remember the lyrics to every single song. I'm like, put on a Spice Girls song.
I was just going to say Spice Girls.
Put on a Marilyn Manson song. I know every single word. Put on a Blink-182 song. I know every single word. Put on a Drake song. Like, I literally have the most varietal taste in music, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But yeah,
we remember every word.
I mean, that also can show how you can learn how it helps with remembering things, because how easily do you remember the words of songs?
Very easily.
So much magic behind music.
I love that. Our title should be Magic Behind Music.
Yes, that's what it's gonna be.
I love that. Honestly, like we said, guys, we are not doctors by any means, and we will have someone professional on the show to speak about more in-depth connections between music and the brain. Yes, and music healing. I think it's super important. And just, I mean, we've touched on ways that music can help you, but like Rox was saying earlier, there's actually certain vibrational frequencies of music that heal certain parts of your body, and it's just a whole nother podcast. So this is just a little bit of a reminder or of a message to you to say, listen to more music, listen to the music that makes you happy. Use music to cope with situations, with people, with life in general. And we have a really cool quote that is from a neurologist that we would like to tell you guys about. but it's called, I don't know if you would actually call this a poem. I feel like it kind of is a poem, but it's titled The Way I See It. And it's by Oliver Sacks, who's a neurologist and author. And the thing says, music can lift us out of depression or move us to tears. It is a remedy, a tonic, orange juice for the ear. But for many of my neurological patients, music is even more. It can provide access, even when no medication can, to movement, to speech, to life. For them, music is not a luxury, but a necessity. So I think that kind of ties together everything we spoke about in this whole podcast. And it's from a neurologist, guys. So it just shows you
there is some fact in this podcast.
Exactly. Sometimes where there is no medication and there is nothing to help or nothing left to help someone who has tried everything, music can be not a luxury, but a necessity. So,
and it's free.
That's the best part. Who doesn't love free things, honestly?
That's, I think, the most beautiful thing about natural healing and alternative healing modalities. I'm not saying they're all free, but a lot of them are available to us in our front door, like earthing and grounding, just realigning your energies and electrons. I mean, I was reading today that grounding actually gives you the highest boost of antioxidants.
Really?
And all you need to do is go and lie on the grass or stand barefoot in the grass. So
literally put your toes on the grass.
So, I mean, there's so many free ways to heal yourself. Number one being your mind and working on your mind. Obviously, that can become expensive if you need a little bit of help, but it's so worth the investment. But yeah, like we're saying, like there's so many free ways to help yourself be healthier, to be healthier, I guess. Is
to
just
heal.
the main word. To heal and be healthy.
Heal your mind, body, soul, as we always talk about. But thank you guys for tuning into another episode today. This one was short and sweet, but like we said, we'd like to introduce music in this episode and have somebody speak about it more in depth in another episode. So if this is something that you enjoyed, please let us know, as we always say. And if there's any other topic that you'd like us to cover,
let us know.
Yes.
We've also kicked off our confidence journey.
Yes.
So if you guys are late to the party and want to take part, it'll be saved under our 30-day confidence journey highlight reel on Instagram.
Yes. Thank you from the Health and Harmony Girls.
Love you. Bye.